Hey guys, happy Easter. I know I look like hell right now. I haven't had a shower yet. I'm kind of out of sorts at the moment. I felt like coming on here and just sort of ranting and getting out some emotions that I currently feel like are going to overwhelm me. So, a lot has been going on, and um, an ongoing thing with me has been the stress that I've been under at work. And recently, just a few days ago actually, I put in for another position, which would be kind of a promotion, not really. I mean, there would be a little bit of a pay increase, um, instead of working two different departments, I would be in one, and I would be considered a department head, um, which is really not much of a difference as to what I'm doing now. But so yeah, it's actually kind of weird because the person that's leaving the position that I put in for is actually the person I replaced at where I'm at now. He's moving to a different job. Um, so anyway, I put in for it, and I put in for it like 3 or 4 days ago. The bidding ended on Friday, I believe, and I told no one at my job that I did this because I don't like people knowing my business. And also, the main reason being is that if I don't get it, then that's, less people, the less people that I have to feel awkward in front of, as they come up to me and say, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't get the position, the better, because I don't like being in those kind of positions. So that's why I told no one. I didn't even tell my best friend. I didn't tell Tom. I didn't tell anyone about this, okay? So I go in today, like I said, it's Easter, and Tom forgot something because his entire freaking crazy ass family are coming for dinner tonight, and he forgot something, so I went to the store to get it. And 2 seconds after walking in the store, I see this guy that works in the back, and he comes up to me and he's like, "So I hear that we're losing you, or you're leaving us. I hear you're leaving us," something like that, like really in this incredibly loud, booming voice. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You put in for that position at the other store," and I was like really freaking pissed off. But, I shrugged it off. I'm like, okay, and in my head, I'm like, well, that's really nice. Somebody found out about it. And, well, I was going to say if somebody was to find out about it, he's like the worst person. But to be honest, anybody finds out anything in that store and it's across the store in like 30 seconds because everybody's a fucking gossiping bitch in that store. But anyway, so like I get away from him as fast as possible. I tell him it's like I'm not leaving. I'm probably not going to get it. I just put it out there, so people would know that I was interested in getting a different position. And I go up front to check out because I want to get the hell out of the store as fast as possible. And my supervisor, the one that I'm always bitching about, that is control hungry, power driven bitch, um, comes up, and I'm at self checkout, checking out my 3 items, trying to get my ass out of there as fast as possible. And she comes barreling over and, like, not, she doesn't walk up to me. No, that would be too simple and too nice. She says from across the front end, "You realize you have an interview on Tuesday, right?" Like, really loud so everybody could hear her. And I said, "No, nobody told me." So, "Oh, I was going to text you. I figured you didn't know because you didn't work yesterday." And I said, "Well, and I'm standing there and I don't really know what to say." And then I'm like, "Well, I had no idea that this was going to move this fast." And she's like, "Well, Mike's got to go to a different store to train and they want to make sure they have somebody in place and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, fine, fine. Let me just get my shit and get out." And she turns around and she's like, "Well, you're probably going to get it because you have more time and only one other person has applied for it and blah, blah, blah." And she just won't shut up about it. And so I'm leaving, and the girl at customer service looks at me, and she's got like this really sad look on her face, and she's holding this piece of paper, and she knows me well enough to know that I'm not happy. And she comes over to me and she's like, "Holly, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "This was on the counter since yesterday morning, and it was the email saying that I had an interview for this other position. So it came down yesterday, and Doreen, I'm assuming it was Doreen, it could have been Wendy, and I don't even care. I usually try not to use my coworkers' names, but I don't even care today. One of them, my money's on Doreen, my supervisor, um, felt the need to print out this email and leave it on the counter where everybody in the store could see it. And like I said, this girl who showed it to me, she knows me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why they did this. She's like, everybody knows. And it would be one thing if, I got the job or whatever, but I haven't even had an interview yet. So it's like, if I don't get the job, and on top of the fact that, if I don't get the job, I'm only going up against one other person. So I'm going to feel like the biggest freaking loser in the entire world if I don't get this job going up against only one other person. And I'm going to feel like such an ass. This is what I was trying to avoid. And so on top of the stress of like the idea of getting this job, and then there's the added bonus of the fact that this job is at the store that I was at for 10 years, the one that I had to get out of because of certain things. I have a lot of bad memories associated with that store. There's one particular person I do not get along with, and she was the 75% of the reason why I left, and she's still there. And so there's that, but it's like it would be good for me in a lot of ways because, like I said, it would be a small pay increase. It would be guaranteed set hours. I could make my own schedule, and I wouldn't have to worry about my hours getting cut in the winter like I have for the last 14 years that I've worked there because I'm guaranteed 40 hours every week if I was to get this position. But it's like, so I'm freaking out about the prospect of getting this job and having to go back to the store that I absolutely hated and it was completely toxic for me. And then I'm freaking out that everybody at the store that I'm at now knows about this, and these people are talking about me and everything like that, and they're making this big deal out of it. Because I was there when something similar happened. This girl from another department put in for another position at a different store, and everybody thought, she had the time, she was going to get it. She only went up against one other person, and she didn't get it. And I felt so bad for her because everybody was like laughing and joking and saying, how pitiful it was that she goes up against one person who had like less than half the time that she did, and she didn't get it. And it just keeps going through my head that that's going to be me if I don't get this job. And then on the other hand, it's like, if I do get the job, I've got this whole other mountain of things that I'm going to have to work through and deal with. So a big part of me right now is really wishing that I didn't even put in for this, because it's like turning out to be far much more trouble than it's worth. So I'm kind of having a little bit of an anxiety attack, as if you can't tell by how like rushed and crazed I sound right now. It's just, I don't know what to do. I mean, I texted my best friend, but she's in California, so she's still asleep because it's like 9:30 in the morning here, and I don't know what to fucking do. And plus I have to deal with Tom's family tonight, and I have to put this big smile on my face and pretend I'm really happy, and so, yeah. And I was really looking forward to just having most of today, because his family isn't coming till like 5:30, just to sit and relax and watch TV or read my book and just veg out before another week from hell started, and I can't even have that now. All because Tom forgot the fucking foil. I swear to God, it's all Tom's fault. I mean, things are far from ideal where I'm at, but I still, everything that I used to always say to myself, no matter how bad things were, like how frustrated I got at work, I used to say, well, it's still better than the other store. At least you're not having to deal with that woman who didn't want to let you go home when your dad died. I mean, granted, if I went back there, she would have nothing to do with me, but I would still see her every day. She's in a different department, but the store's not that big, so I would still see her every day. And like I said, I have a lot of really bad memories associated with that store. I was there for 10 years, and yeah, so. But I rationalized the whole decision of putting in for the job by saying to myself, well, all you really have to do is put in like a couple months, and maybe you'd be able to go to a different store. And, if the whole like department head thing doesn't work out, they can't take full time away from you. I could just step down and maybe get back into Summers Point, but then do I really want to come back to the store? Because there's a lot of toxic people that I would really rather avoid, especially now. So there's just all this fucking shit going on in my head right now, and I don't really know how to process it. And yeah, so I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. The way it's probably going to work on Tuesday with the interview, since I have to work, you watch, it's going to probably be right after work on Tuesday. So I'm going to be at work, my mind is going to be someplace else, and then I'm going to have to go out to that store for a freaking interview. And yeah, so. Oh, God. I need like my own little cheering group. I need a bunch of people to like come to my house and pump me up and tell me, you have just as much chance of getting this job as the other person. And it's not that I don't think I have a chance of getting it and that I don't deserve it. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't have gone for it. I know I deserve it and that I would, hopefully be able to handle it. But I don't know. It's just okay. Anyway, I've babbled for 11 minutes, and that's far too long to be babbling about this shit. So, if anybody's actually still watching this video, I appreciate you listening to me. Um, I just, yeah, I don't know what to do right now. I have to find something to occupy myself. I doubt that I'll be able to focus if I tried to read or something. And I already cleaned yesterday and did laundry, so I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm going to shut up. So thanks for listening if anybody is, and I will talk with you later. Bye.